Welcome back to the channel. This is Narrative on Tap. My name's Luke and today we are doing my to be read, might be read for the months of April, May and June. Let's go. Welcome back to the channel, folks. This is Narrative on Tap. My name's Luke, and today we're going to go through a bunch of books that I might be reading through April, May and June. Now, over the last kind of year and a bit, I have become so much more of a mood reader than a, succinct TBR. I don't make a fixed TBR for a month anymore because that does not work for me. I'm too much of a mood reader. I like to pick up books that I just fancy at the time. So what I've done is I've made a pool of books that I can choose from over the next 3 months. They're going to be in no particular order as I show you them and talk about them, but they are going to be what I'm kind of picking out of my TBR MBR pool. So without further ado, let's go with the first one. So the first book I'll be reading this quarter will be A Drop of Corruption by Robert Jackson Bennett. This is the sequel to The Tainted Cup. The Tainted Cup was my top book of 2025. It was just a brilliant book. Wholly unique fantasy world. I'd never really experienced anything like it. Very kind of biopunk, dark, slimy world, and the magic system was really creative, all kind of plant-based and just weird. It was just so weird. And then in that you had this amazing Sherlock and Watson type vibe with these two main characters, Anna Delabra and Dinios Cole. And in this one, we pretty much get them solving another case. I've not really kind of looked too much into the blurb, but reviews I've read say, you know, it's pretty much the same as the first book, but better and bigger. And the conspiracy that they started to kind of unpeel the first layers of it in the first book start to deepen in this book. So I'm just excited to get back in this world, to spend time with Anna and Din again, because they were two of one of my favourite characters I bet in fantasy, absolutely, especially Anna Delabra. She's an absolute delight to read. She's foul-mouthed, she is hyper intelligent, and she has a unique and amazing ability that just makes her detective skills just heightened even more. Absolutely brilliant. So I'm really looking forward to reading A Drop of Corruption. So I'll be jumping back into the world of Dresden with book number 9, which is White Knight. This series is just getting so damn good. It's getting bigger. The world is getting bigger. The conspiracies and the political machinations between the wizards and the courts is just getting so complex. It's just brilliant stuff. As I understand it, it's almost like a standalone book in the fact that the kind of all that kind of political war stuff takes a backseat, and we focus on Dresden's half brother, who's kind of implicated in a crime, and it's up to Dresden to kind of basically clear his name if he is innocent in all this. So I'm looking forward to it. I always love diving to Dresden. I always like to read a Dresden after a big chunker of a fantasy book, because they're always relatively short. They're so easy to read. I can blast through them in a week. So it's always a good palate cleanser. So I'm looking forward to White Knight by Dresden. By Jim Butcher, Dresden Files. I'm currently reading Iron Gold, which is book 4 in the Red Rising saga. That has been, you know, we've been thrust in many years into the future now. A lot of stuff is changing, and I'm reading Iron Gold at the minute. I'm doing a buddy read with my friends from Bookstagram, Soph and Hidden in the Book. We're really enjoying Iron Gold, and I am probably not going to get much of a rest because we're going to go probably straight into Dark Age at some point, I would have thought, because I think we're going to finish Iron Gold and go, we need to read more. That's a lot thicker than Red Rising. It's a lot thicker than the first trilogy. So we're getting bigger books, but that's because we're getting more POVs. The books are more political. They're more darker, much darker tone. We're really getting to see the consequences of Darrow's legacy. You know, he has broken the Golden Society, and we are seeing in Iron Gold, at least at the minute, we are seeing the results of that, and they are not good. So the name Dark Age spells a bit of doom to me, so we shall see what happens, but that is going to probably be a buddy read with the same two ladies, because I think we have I made a group on Bookstagram called the I think the Iron Gold support group. So, you know, we'll be doing the Dark Age emotional support group as well to get through this together, because I have a feeling it's going to be emotionally traumatic. I'm also going to be reading an historical fiction novel. I think just to take a break from the fantasy and science fiction, I'm going to be reading a very well-known historical fiction that I have yet to read, and it's been around for a long, long time, and that is The Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follett. I've heard nothing but amazing stuff about this. I follow a lot of booktubers who absolutely praise these books, highly praise the books. It's basically set in 12th century England, and it's basically about the building of a cathedral, but it's about the people involved, ambition, anarchy, power, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I'm really, really looking forward to reading this, because every now and then I just need to step away from fantasy and sci-fi before I get that kind of burnout with it. And historical fiction or crime fiction is usually my go-to when I need a break from that genre. Yeah, I am looking forward to this. It is a chahonka, so that's going to probably be a June book, I think. Summer book, when it's sunshine and I can sit in the garden for a couple of hours and really immerse myself in this world. Very much looking forward to reading The Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follett. I'll also be reading another sequel. This is the sequel to Empire of the Vampire by J. Christoph, the man who likes to stamp on your heart and rip it out. So I'll be reading Empire of the Damned, which is the second book in the trilogy. I have no doubt I am in for some more stress, heartache, and gory bloodiness and just general trauma. But we, you know, that's why we read books like this, because we, you know, it's toxic. We like to go and invite trauma into our lives through these books. But yeah, I cannot wait to catch up with Gabriel and all the other extraordinary members of the cast of these books. I mean, Christoph just writes characters so damn well. He writes story so damn well, and yeah, looking forward to this. Probably not going to read that like next to any of the Red Rising stuff, because, you know, one book trauma is enough, I think. But I'll be reading it. Next is book 4 in a ongoing series that I'm reading, and that is Tchaikovsky's Shadow of the Apt. And book 4 is Salute the Dark. This, I believe, closes off the kind of 4-book arc in this 10-book series. I don't know if there's a time jump in the 5th book or whatever, but I do understand that this kind of closes off a lot of the storylines that we've been following through the first 3 books of the Shadow of the Apt, which has basically been the Wasp Empire that has been crawling all over the continent and taking over all the other races' lands, and basically trying to incorporate them into their culture, into their society, a lot like the Romans did. Just basically assimilating other cultures into theirs. That's kind of what the Wasp Empire do. And we follow a group of beetles and mantids and spiders. These are the races of people, not the actual insects. If you're a bit confused by this, watch my previous video where I kind of explain that Tchaikovsky has kind of created this world where human type people have the characteristics and sometimes the abilities and powers of said insects. So the mantids, you know, they have these kind of claws that come out of their hand, like a bit like Wolverine. Spiders are very much espionage. They kind of weave webs of espionage and political stuff like that. Yeah, stuff like that. So it's been an incredible story so far, so I can't wait for this particular arc to finish with this book. Tchaikovsky is my top author at the minute, and he can do no wrong in my eyes. Next is a bit of science fiction, and this is a kind of science fiction humour comedy book, and it is called We Are Legion, We Are Bob by Dennis E. Taylor. Fans of Terry Pratchett and Douglas Adams, I think, will be right at home with this, as I understand it. but kind of like part philosophical, part comedy. I'm really looking forward to kind of getting stuck into this. This will probably be a good book to read maybe after a Red Rising or Empire of the Damned book, because I'll probably need a bit of humour just to help me through my recuperation period after the book trauma. So that'll probably be good, and it's a nice small book, so it'll be a good palate cleanser for one of my darker books. Next is a book that I have seen mentioned on Bookstagram many times over the past couple of months, and it is being hailed as a lot of people's book of 2026, and that is The Poet Empress by Shen Tao. I have this beautiful hardback, just absolutely gorgeous front cover. I don't know a lot about this. I'm going to go into this quite blind, but I have it's kind of a political fantasy, a beautiful story, beautifully written. Some people said that I heard that some people were calling this a romantasy. Apparently it is very much not a romantasy, but there are probably romantic elements in the book. That doesn't really bother me anyway. But yeah, so it's kind of literary fiction. It is apparently just sensational and beautiful to read, so I am very much looking forward to this, because I'm looking for a sensational book for 2026. I've read some great books so far, but I'm wondering if this is going to topple my top 3. We shall see. Final 3 books I've got in my TBR MBR pool is all by the same author. 2 of the books are part of an internationally acclaimed series that I think everybody, well, nearly everybody, is just enjoying because it's just so much fun. And that is the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. I will be reading books 4 and book 5 sometime in the next couple of months. I've been buddy reading this with my friend Keegan. I'm pretty sure we're going to get these 2 read over the next couple of months. They do get bigger and bigger, these books. That's the 5th book. That's a huge chunker. But you know what? I've been loving these books. And what has surprised me the most, and I think surprises a lot of people, is the emotional depth that these books have. You know, book 1 and 2 start to be, you know, we got the idea of how fun it was kind of leveling up and getting all these chests and special abilities and all that kind of lit RPG fun that you have with these type of books. But then it just got more, the more you got to know the characters, the more emotionally invested you got in them. There were scenes that, you know, brought a lump to my throat. They were really emotional scenes, and I think the more we get into this series, the more impactful those emotional scenes become. And also, like, the conspiracy kind of outside of the game itself is really kind of unfurling in a very interesting way, and I've got a feeling we're going to learn a lot over these 2 books. So I'll be reading these 2 with Keegan over on Bookstagram. Really looking forward to them. Again, perfect choices after my darker type reads as well. And then another book by Matt Dimmingham, but this is a beginning of a new series, I think, or is it standalone? I'm not sure. But that is Operation Bounce House. Operation Bounce? Yeah, Operation Bounce House. This is the incredible Broken Binding Special Edition. The front cover is incredible, and then the naked cover is also just as good, just beautiful. Broken Binding just outdo themselves with these special editions all the time. Very much looking forward to reading this. Very different from Dungeon Crawler Carl. I've heard it's quite topical for this kind of what we're going through with like the technology and the age of AI and all that stuff. This hits some notes, this book, I believe, from what I've read in reviews and articles. So I'm very much looking forward to this. I do like a book that kind of makes you kind of look at the real world and go, we're in a lot of trouble, aren't we? Books that reflect the real world but do it in their creative world, just fantastic. Love it. So that is Operation Bounce House, and I'm going to want to read this quite soon. So this might be I might be reading this after Iron Gold, I think. Who knows? I mood read. I don't know. But that's it. That is my pool of books that I'll be reading over the next 3 months. Like I said, I used to do monthly TBRs. Doesn't work for me anymore. So this kind of having this pool that I can just pick out of in any order, it's much more fun. It's much more dynamic. Makes it more spontaneous. And that's what I love. Thanks for joining me, guys. If you've liked what you've seen today, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you do not miss any of my videos and any content that comes out. If you like this video, please give it a like. It does help my channel get through the battle that is the algorithm and to get seen. So please, if you can, support the channel by subscribing, liking, commenting. All that engagement really helps with the channel. Thank you so much. It's been a joy letting you know what I'm going to be reading over the next 3 months. I'll of course keep you updated on here. You can also follow me over on Instagram. I'll put the link in the notes below. Have a great time reading, guys, and revel in the destruction of your TBR. Signing off.